Hello, this is Victor and here with a new Paint and Talk. And this time I want to talk about the topic of the week started by Vince Venturella. And it's the new Warhammer 40k, but he wants to talk more, or the topic is more about how we feel, what is our feeling on the new Warhammer 40k, and if we feel that, so what is more than what are the rules, and what are the news. I think the news are over there. And maybe I will do a live this Friday talking about the new news. Every day there is news about the rules. I want to talk more about how I feel about this transition, and also what are my expectations for this Warhammer 40k. So first of all, I have to say that Games Workshop, I have the feeling that they really learned a lot in the last, I would say, 1.5 years, 2 years. So the transition from, I would think, the transition from Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition to Age of Sigmar, I think was very bad managed. Okay, the beginning, a lot of people quit. They had a very bad starting point in Age of Sigmar. Although today is a very successful history, I will say that the starting of Age of Sigmar was not smooth as you want to be as a big company. So you want a smooth transition, you don't want to lose a big bunch of your base players, you want to open the doors to new ones. But I think just kicking the table and pissing off all players is not a good way to transit, okay? And this I think was more or less the feeling I had from the transition of 8th edition to Warhammer Age of Sigmar. How I see now in 40k is that they are trying to make the players to digest step by step, by dropping news step by step, by showing some hinges about how this game will look like, and also involving the community. I think one of the things that is motivating me a lot is that they ask the community for feedback on the game before releasing. So we know that, for example, for online gaming, have been testing the game ahead of the launch and helping Games Workshop to at least to balance the game, no, or giving input on how they think about the rules. I think this is a great initiative. So the biggest that you can create your testing base. Maybe you will not capture all the bugs on the rules, or you will not capture all the holes, because it's not the same 100 people playing than some thousand of people playing. But I think that they learn a lot on that. The other thing I think it's great is that they are dropping news, so we can start having a look, very soft, but see what is the philosophy of the new game, and I think this is great. So I think this is a very good initiative from Games Workshop, and to be fair, this is what is keeping me super interested on the new 40k. I see the new 40k to be like a mixture between Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40k, right? So the 8th edition, I see a lot of I see that they have simplified, for example, the secret phase. I think now will make much more sense. It's going to be like Age of Sigmar. So each sorcerer have his own powers, have a difficulty to cast. If you cast it, it goes out, and if it's not casted, it doesn't go out, and you don't have to accumulate points, and you don't have to make this game of having to accumulate warp charges and all these type of things that make the game slower and more complex, and it's not adding value at the end, I think. Okay. So I think it's good that they have changed the system to. I think the system for Age of Sigmar is very straightforward, simple, and it's working. So I think it's good for me. The abilities look like a mixture between Age of Sigmar and 40k, and I have the feeling that they will keep simple rules. So very simple rules for Age of Sigmar, and a little bit more complex, but not as complex as it is today for Warhammer 40k. Still very curious how the forces will match together. I guess they will use the same that they do in Age of Sigmar, keywords, so the abilities will be compatible if you have the same keywords like in Age of Sigmar. What makes although you can align with anything, you cannot do crazy combinations, because if you don't have the same keywords, you cannot share the abilities. Okay. I don't know. I guess in 40k you will be able to put the heroes inside of units, not like in Age of Sigmar that you cannot do that. So I expect a little bit more complexity in the rules in Warhammer 40k, but yeah, but on the other side, uh, also a big streamline, and looks like the first things I see on the streamline. It's quite interesting. I like a lot that each unit have its movement. I like a lot the new rule for cover. I think adding +1 to your save, or making a modifier to your save, I think it's a great way to do it. So uh, I think I like this more than putting a penalty to hit. I really like this way how the cover will work. So it looks quite interesting, all this. Of course, they also say that there will be weapons that will cancel the cover save, or will not give the bonus for cover save. What else? So I think on all these and how they are managing, also that if you have bought a codex recently, that they will refund, or they will give not refund, they will give you a voucher for when the new books are out. All this, I think it's making steps in the right direction, and I think Games Workshop is doing much better the transition from Warhammer 40k 8th edition than the transition they did for Age of Sigmar. As well, the other thing that is interesting is that the fluff is moving, and the new map is looking very interesting. Chaos is spread all over the galaxy, not just in 2 points. Look like the chaos is almost dominating, not 50, but a big bunch of the galaxy. So really the Imperium will suffer a lot. The Imperium will completely break down, and I want to see how all this is evolving. It opens the door to a lot of other things. Of course, they say that there will be a new faction. The new faction, I'm pretty sure, is the Death Guard. So the starter box will come with Death Guard against Marines, and we see this on the picture of the Warhammer 40k. All the pictures that they are showing is a helmet of half Space Marine, half Death Guard. So, so really, it's keeping me super interested. It's keeping me willing to go to the community website to see what are the news for Warhammer 40k. It's keeping the excitement, and although this is a transition period, it's also keeping the excitement to paint new miniatures, because I would like to use these miniatures in the new game. If it's something like Age of Sigmar, where I have the feeling that almost all the miniatures can be used, so it's great for people that like me, that like to use the miniatures that strange miniatures, or miniatures that are not that popular, because then you have also a place for that miniatures. Let's see how the points is working. They also say that there will be 2 types of points. This is also quite curious. So there will be the super detailed points, where you have to pay for each weapon, for each ability, I guess, and then you have the points Age of Sigmar style. Well, you pay for the unit, and the grades you can gain the grades that you want on the unit. So all this, I think it's a good streamline. Looks good so far. Of course, we don't have the rules, so I need to check. We still need to wait. But I will say that being much open to what is going on, communicating more. I think Games Workshop is working in the last year and a half in the right direction, and I think they have prepared much better the transition on Warhammer 40k than the transition they did on fantasy. The other thing is, at the beginning I was a little bit, not pissed off, but a little bit, yeah, I have a lot of codex, no, and I was a little bit thinking, oh no, I have to buy again all the books. But as I see the rules, there is no way that you can transition the old codex to the new rules. And I think if they really wanted to do important streamline, they need new rules for the units as well. So you cannot keep the same rules for the units and try to make patches here and there. Try to keep the all stats and try just to play with the rules. I think both things comes together. Before they announced it, I was, I would say 70-80% sure that they will change the codex, because for me it makes sense. No, if you want to do a big streamline, if you want to solve a lot of issues that you have today, you have to change also the rules of the units. You have to change how the units interact, and the only way to balance the game, to change the rules of the unit, and doing all this is to make new codexes or new rules. And if you do new rules, of course the old codexes get obsolete. And yeah, and I think, yeah, I'm really looking forward. I don't think a lot of people will, yeah, let's see the rules. Of course there will be people that will hate us, it's always the case, but I think I really look this with a very optimism. I'm very optimistic about this change. I'm really excited and I'm really looking forward this summer to play the new 40k. So I need to see my agenda and prepare to see if I can go to play the new 40k. And for now, I think I will not play more 40k until they launch the new rules. I will focus on playing maybe Age of Sigmar and painting, and I'm thinking to go this Saturday to the shop to do some Shadow War Armageddon. So I want to test the warbands or the kill teams. So I will see if I go there. So that's all what I want to tell so far. So this is the topics I wanted to cover in this moment. Just one thing related to the channel. I will not do more Unity in depth for Warhammer 40k, as you may guess. Make no sense to make more content from my side for 7th edition. This way I also stop playing since 7th edition is off, and then I want to prepare myself for the 8th edition. So no more units in depth for 7. Yeah, and I don't think I will start with doing unit in depth on 8th edition until I have a little bit of experience. So that's all for now. So please leave in the comment below what do you think about the new Warhammer 40k. Are you as excited as me? Do you want to see the new, and you want to have the new rules of Warhammer 8th edition on your hands? I really want that. You're really willing to play this game? Did you play previous editions? Leave all this in the comments below. And as usual, I put the link to the Vince Venturella video. So if there is more video responses to the Vince Venturella topic, you can see that you can go to the video of Vince Venturella, and then you can find the rest of the videos. That's all for now. That's all what I wanted to talk. And as usual, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.